philosophizing about this, yeah, it's good. You can really think about what the benefits are. Here, I'm just talking about it directly from an effective philosophy perspective. It's good because it will help you be present in the moments where being present is fucking important. Welcome back, mere mortalites, to another edition of the Mere Mortals podcast. You've got myself, Juan, here for a solo episode today, and I'm going to be talking about a topic that, look, straight away, I think I know half of you are going to assimilate with, you're going to understand, and the other half going to go, what the hell are you talking about, Juan? And that's okay. That's fine. Cool. Half of you got me. The other half, my apologies. Look, it's all about, and I'll set the scene here, the mentality of go, the mentality of do, of growth, of improvement, whether it is in the books that you're reading, whether it is in the business acumen, whether it is in success when it comes from a monetary perspective or relationships, right? All of these things. I've always trended towards being pro that, and I'm still pro that, right? It's fine. Sometimes people say like you're an A player, right, or an A-type player, or an A-type individual. Me, more like I'm somewhere in the middle, right? There's something between A and B, like a B plus. I'm a B plus person, right? So I fall in this mindset of yes, drive, growth, improvement. But the problem which that causes, at least I've experienced it myself, is then I don't have an off switch, right? And I guess it's more so my journey to creating an off switch. If you've tuned into monthly goals, annual goals that I've discussed about, there is this consistent, although small, and I don't normally prioritize it that much, but it's the how do I encourage myself to find an off switch in small reasons as to why I would do that. I just want to find a bit more fun in my day, right? My day's always, and again, looking at it objectively, I go, I really enjoy when it's back to back and packed, and I've got things in the morning and all this work to do at the end, and I get to hang out with my daughter and I get to do all these things. And I look at that and it is good, but in other concepts, I go, I have just fun. And by fun, I'm defining it here as letting my hair down, doing things for the sake of doing. Often it's not for the sake of doing, but a sake of improvement. And I'll talk about what I've chosen to do as part of that and a little bit later to explain that a little bit more. How does it apply though very effectively, like the effective philosophy? Again, this is not always, but there are some times of challenge where I'm with my daughter, or I'm with my partner, or I'm with a significant relation, right? You transpose that to whatever that might be in your life. And I will find myself often having the conversation in my own mind of, yes, I'm here, but I'm also in this future or past state in where I'm trying to retrospect or plan for something else in part of this growth journey, growth curve. May it be doing this podcast or upgrading something on the business side of things, or hey, I've got to read this and what's the next book. That's fine, and I'm very much expecting that every individual is like that at any one moment. But the danger comes when the off switch is almost despised to a point that you don't let yourself settle into the present, into the moment, and that's where you will miss out on a lot of what life is. Now, once again, I'm calling it out. Do I have a dangerous amount of not off switching? No, I am able to off switch. I'm a B plus person. I'm not always on. I do have the occasion where I just want to chill out and relax. So it's not like a ridiculous problem, but it's enough that I've had to put in some steps in my journey to go and do that, go and relax. And so my first question to you, Immortal Light, really is, have you had that? Is there a name for this? Do you define it as something? How did you get past it? Cool. Let me know. I'm literally on the journey. I'm on the journey to improve being a little bit more switched off where I need to, almost on demand, perhaps. So yeah, that's my main sort of question to you at this point. The second one I want to talk about, what is it that I'm trying to implement, trying to do? And again, you would have heard about it if you've listened to some of the podcasts prior to this. It's really simulation racing. That's kind of the poison that I've picked. There's many poisons, and it's, don't get me wrong, again, there's other things that I am doing right now which are not for the purpose of succession and growth and whatever, but I call them more dead times. This is more specific timing where I've gone, cool, I'm going to go and do some simulation racing in that particular time. The goal isn't to get better at racing. It isn't to win a race. It isn't to find fun directly or come out of it and say, my happiness improved by +3, whatever, however you want to denote that. It's more how I'm taking some time out of myself, out of my day, out of the week, to sit down, do something that I generally would honestly despise or honestly push away, in the fear of, hey, because I'm doing this, I am no longer able to read or do something else. And that's still happening. That's still the reality. You're still not then doing the something else. But it's the almost forceful, the mandatory, the putting yourself in a position where, yeah, but it's okay to do that. Life isn't at least for me, it shouldn't feel like a game where the winner is the one who, at the end of it, ran the hardest, pushed the hardest, and absolutely either burn yourself out, or has noted that success or achievement is, this particular thing, or that I achieved this quality in the amount of money that I made or the size of the business. None of that. I think I want it to be more a reflection on the memories, the things I got to do, the things I chose not to do, how I held moral and ethical boundaries, and perhaps not stepped over them when those challenges faced up, and then being there with key relations. Part of that really is simulation racing, and I'll talk about it more specifically, iRacing, for those who may participate in that. Obviously, there's lots of different options, obviously, to do that, but the benefit I found there was I've always had a real passion for racing, for cars in general. Since I was really, really young, I used to watch Formula One with my dad. I remember 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, kind of staying up. We had moved to Australia at the time. There was a Colombian racer called Juan Montoya, and we used to, watch that and support Colombian racing around. But we would, stay up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., watch these races, and I'd go to school the following day. And that was always great fun. I've always had that passion for cars and racing, and I sometimes talk about it in a lot of podcasts that I have, especially in varying interviews. Someone like Jeff Yu, who we've talked about on cars before on the podcast as well. The thing there is, there is some level of joy, some level of fun, some level of, I care about it, not for any other particular reason that I care about it, and it's good to just be partaking in it. And so that's why I ended up choosing for me something like that, where sim racing, I can set it up. It's fairly low cost if you want to do it at home. Obviously, there's gigantic costs if you go into the racing, actual cars and whatnot, and time. Honestly, you need time and a lot of money for that. So for me, the ability just to get downstairs in an evening, go and do a little bit of racing, now an hour is normally the max, and it's the ability to go and do something. I'm doing it because I find joy in the car simulation and the racing and some of the little gaming. I'm not trying to finish off that particular session with a win, or I did this or I did that, but more of a sense of, I spent some time doing something that I really enjoyed. And looking back on the last couple of months, a lot of the days where they're full, I'll call them full, right? There's a lot of things going on. They blur. A lot of things blur, especially when it comes to business, success, or reading books. They blur a lot. I can call out some highlights, but they blend. Maybe it's because of a lot of hours that I'm spending there. But interestingly, if I go and try to recall the last few months and the times that I was able to do some racing, perhaps because it's a unique experience and I'm not doing it that often, or for another reason, maybe I'm just finding good joy, I can tell you about a time when I slid backwards and I came third, or I came second in this particular race, or I was leading at the charge. And I'm always racing on something called like open car racing. So all of the cars, usually if they touch wheels, and look, I'm gonna humble myself, not that I need to, but reality is I'm a shit driver. Let's just put it that way. And sim racing, there's always crashes, and even more so in open wheel racing. So, the fascination of, getting around the first bend without crashing, all these sort of things. Again, I'm not telling you, and I'm putting a monthly goal that I'm going to be, X amount of points or reach this particular goal. It is doing it for the reason of doing it, and doing it because it helps me be present, right? And all of those moments I felt present. I feel like I can recall a lot of those things without wanting to, having to save it somewhere else for storage of memory or something like that. All in all, it's a full lap going back around. Terminology here with some racing is that finding an off switch for those who struggle with it is really, really, really important. It's also valuable. Yes, I can logically tell you that I could have spent 7 hours over the last 7 times that I did racing, and in those 7 hours, maybe read a book. True. That's true. Could I have gotten some learnings out of it? Of course. Could I have gotten some growth out of the business, spending a lot of time? Of course. But would I have gotten as much memories, as much imbued happiness, not direct happiness, not happiness in that I wished upon the happiness to be created, but in those moments, in those 7 hours, the reflective memory really has me going, I really enjoyed that. I really recall and go, that was really good. Whereas it's few and far between when that happens with a book. Very few and far between when that happens with business. And so I take that away is, I got to build my off switch. For some people, if you're a B plus or maybe you're an A type person, find your off switch. Find the time, find the reason as to why you'd want to do an off switch, and then go do something, right? That's an effective philosophy. It's not the, philosophically thinking about this, rationally thinking about this, you're not going to land yourself in a good place. Philosophizing about this, it's good. You can really think about what the benefits are. Here, I'm just talking about it directly from an effective philosophy perspective. It's good because it will help you be present in the moments where being present is fucking important. That's the reality of it, right? And that's why I'm doing it as well, because how I noticed a distinct difference in the moments I want to be more in the moment and leveraging the tools and techniques that I'm applying while I'm racing. No, I'm not. Not at all. Like, at least not consciously, but subconsciously, that's probably the hope. More so that in those moments that I'm doing some racing, I can see that there is some benefit when I'm reflecting on it, and so in turn, subconsciously or in no other thoughts, it'll start applying into the other moments, the really critical moments, which I then want to make sure I have that off switch ready to go, and I can just focus on my daughter, relationships, whatever else it may be. So, Immortal Lights, if you assimilate to that, does that sound like you? Am I batshit crazy? Am I doing it differently? Do you want to race me on iRacing? Get ready to crash. That's what I'm going to say to you. Get ready to crash. I'm going to leave it there. So that's my little rant for this solo episode. Taking the time to off switch off. That's my effective philosophy for the day. Immortal Lights, you can do all the good things in sharing this, commenting on it, sending us through a message, blah, 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 blah. You can send through a boostergram as well. Satoshi's, it's a message with Satoshi's attached if you would like. Reverse that. Satoshi's with a message if you would like. You can use all the good podcasting platforms out there that allow you to do that. Otherwise, you can, of course, share this around to others who might either need to hear it, need to do the off switch, or support me in telling me what else I could be doing and improving and being more present, right? I've got other, maybe that's a cool thing, how to be more present. And for me, right now, I'm talking about, fostering an off switch, let's just say. Fostering an off switch. I like that. The Immortal Lights, we'll leave it there.